Well, good day, folks. This is Eric Rollins, the Constitutionalist, coming to you live from the podcast layer. It's a beautiful day out there here in sunny California, and I'm going to talk about somebody that kind of leaves me energized. I think he brings some hope, a new opportunity for California. We need different people in office. We need people that have faith, have values, and actually stand for something, are willing to speak boldly. I first saw this man speak up in Merced, and he's running for Congressional District 13 against Adam Gray. So that district that keeps going ping-ponging back and forth between John Duarte and Adam Gray. Except John Duarte's not running this time. And I think that the man I'm about to speak to, Vin, please forgive me if I get your last name wrong, Kruttiventi?
Kruttiventi.
Okay, I was close. Kruttiventi.
Close, yeah.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, glad to. So why would you turn your life upside down and run for Congress?
You know, when I came to this country, I came with nothing.
So you're first generation American.
First generation legal immigrant. That's what I want to stress.
Yes.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah. And I mean, I was a very apolitical person. Like, I was not interested in politics up until like COVID. And long story short, we saw like all of the death and destruction, closure of businesses, like, all these mandates that destroyed communities and families. And I started paying attention. And up until that time, I did not even know, this is an honest fact, who Gavin Newsom was.
Oh, man, you were busy.
I was busy. And so the first time I read about this was like, our governor was at French Laundry, having put all these mandates on people, shut everything down, but rules do not apply to elites. So I started paying attention, and I saw a lot of businesses close. And I had tech. I'm in tech. Tech is my main business, but I had other retail businesses as well, which I had to shut down during COVID. I could survive because of my main business, but other businesses like, around me couldn't. So
you were.
I had my calling then.
Same here. My story is different than yours, but your story is the one we're focused on today. But yes, COVID was a great awakening.
Yeah.
If you were in charge, how would you have dealt with it differently?
We didn't need to shut everything down. It was overreaction. And look at like, some of the states like, like Florida. They were like shut for a few and then like, back up and again. And here in California, schools were shut for like a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And it reset all of the learning within our kids. And a year and a half of like, not being socially active can have a lot of developmental delays in kids. And that aspect is completely overlooked.
Yeah.
So I would have like, really, really not like, shut it down. Well, and all of these mandates, it's okay. Somebody wants to get a vaccine. It's their choice. But somebody says you have to get it is encroaching on personal freedom.
Agreed. So you would have done the 2 weeks to slow the spread and then built towards reopening? Is that a fair way to put that?
Absolutely. Like, 2 weeks, maybe like max 4 weeks, and then like, open them back again. And everything at that point was speculation. Mm-hmm. Nobody had any clue. 6 feet distance, like doing what? Like still, it should have been handled as if like any other flu would have been handled. And all of the numbers that they kept putting out were also fudged. if somebody dies of a pre-existing condition, that was like bundled with like COVID death.
You're right. So if we go from COVID, there's your Great Awakening. How did that drive you towards I would call you more than a moderate. I would call you actually very traditional in how you approach politics. Traditional as in more on the conservative side. I don't know if you want to label yourself that way, but what I saw, I think that's fair.
I am a conservative, 100%. And during COVID, what I saw actually provoked this thought process in me that what can I do for the society? What can I do to give back? And how can I help? And this calling led me to create my family foundation, where we started turning around struggling small businesses. We started helping like nonprofits. Later, like, we pulled back from nonprofits, but more focused on just small businesses. But initially, it was like both small businesses and nonprofits. And my wife at that point, she had her calling. She went and got her nursing degree, and then she started helping people. So both of us, like, were like, okay, sitting at home does a lot of like, things to your brain, right? Like,
Yes.
you really tend to like be like, is this what we were born for? Or like, should we do more? And at that point, we were recruited, or I was recruited by the community to run for office. And that was how it all started, right? But I didn't run in 22. I ran in 24, where we were still living in the Bay then, against Eric Swalwell.
Ooh. I'm sorry you didn't win there, because we'd be in a much better place if he'd gone.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a very deep blue district. And structurally, like, it's not winnable at all. And ideally, I wanted to run in this District 13, but John was already there.
Yeah.
So when John decided not to run, so I jumped in.
So this idea of service runs through your family. When I read a little bit of your bio, it's generational, which is a big deal. How's it affected your daughters? Has this changed their thinking and how they view service to others?
My daughters have always been with me by my side when we went and helped, like, the communities, nonprofits, all of that. They love going out with me, right? And one of the things that actually I think I inspired in a lot of kids is, this is like a beautiful thing, right? When, how schools are, right? Most of the kids, like, tend to be like, or brainwashed to be liberal. Mm-hmm. And this is a true thing that happened. Teacher asked the kids, who are you going to vote for, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? 2 kids raised their hand and said, we'll vote for Donald Trump. And I'm proud to say that was like my younger daughter. She's not afraid. And we taught her not to be afraid. Even if you're the lone voice standing in front of 1,000 people, do the right thing.
Absolutely. And it is hard to be the first person. Once there's
Yeah.
a crowd, it's a lot easier to join a crowd, but we need leaders. So I'm glad you're trying to raise leaders. Can we define your district? Kind of the shape of that district?
It's like a spider web. So, with the new maps, Prop 50, like, they've included south of Stockton, right?
Right.
So it looks like, a star, but It's like, really depressing part of Stockton,
So downtown?
downtown,
Okay. Yeah, but when you said
downtown and south.
depressing, look, the worst homeless situation I've ever seen outside of LA is under the freeway right there at Avenue 7, and I smelled it when I was half a mile away.
Yeah.
Had some business there, and I'm like, what is that smell? And then I kept driving, and there was the homeless encampment under the freeway.
Yeah.
It was just sad.
Right. And they've taken out redder part of the district in out of Fresno County and Madera County.
So you're
And
not
then
in
added a little
Fresno
more.
anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then added a little more of Stanislaus.
So that is Modesto would being the main city in
Modesto.
Stanislaus. So do you get all of Turlock?
I do not have all of Turlock. I have some of Turlock. Some of it is in District 5,
Okay. Which
Yeah.
is McClintock, I think.
McClintock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you get all of Merced County?
All of Merced. Yeah.
Okay, so there's the heart of your district. Where are the bulk of the voters?
Bulk of the voters are in Merced County, followed by Stanislaus.
Okay.
And then the tiny portion is actually like, Madera and Fresno are the tinier parts. Like Madera, I think I have only like 20,000 voters or something. And Fresno, like, even lower than that. And used to be that San Joaquin was the smallest one before the new maps, and now San Joaquin, like, what's Stockton, it's got like a little bigger.
Well, they basically put their thumb on the scale, and I believe they did it in a way that was not in any way fair, but in addition, they did it in a race-based way. And
Yeah.
I don't believe politics should be about race. We should be proud of our culture and our heritage, but I don't see it should be about race. We should be judged by the content of our character.
Always, right? And these are the same people that have made it like, difficult for a normal white person to exist normally. Like, now you're looked at as the enemy. Like, all of these things that are taught in school, like, oh, I'm sorry to say, like, if you're a white man, you're screwed.
Kinda. That's okay. I'll define my own destiny. And the bottom line is the hard work we do, the connections we make, the character we show, it rises above all that nonsense.
Yeah.
For instance, you're a first generation American who is more successful. I consider myself relatively successful, but more successful than me. And good for you. I don't have a problem with that. Good for you. You went out and you seized it. That's one of the great things about first generation Americans is that all of a sudden they saw this wide open opportunity and this chance to define their own destiny. And they grab it. Your community, I know you're Indian, but I don't know if you're Sikh, Hindu, Jain, Muslim. Doesn't matter a whole lot which of those to me because your character is what's shining through. So I appreciate the fact that you become truly successful.
Yeah, thank you. And the beauty of this country is that it embraces talent in a way that, like, it's not biased. Like, they teach you that, like, white man is racist, but somebody that looked like you gave me a hand up. Multiple people. So I am who I am because of the unbiased support and mentorship and guidance I've gotten from many of my mentors. And this is what, like, makes this country great, right? Mm-hmm. And it is based on exceptionalism. It is based on merit. There is no DEI, and there is no looking at your skin tone. If you got the talent, then you got it.
What are the main economic drivers in your district, or the district that I hope you will own soon?
So this district, Central Valley, feeds half of the nation. but
So,
it is one of the poorest in the country.
so it's agriculture is the main economic driver.
Yeah, agriculture in the southern part of the district, central and southern part of the district. Northern part of the district is more commuter with the new map. Like most of them commute to Bay Area for some amount of work, like Stockton all the way to Modesto. Even the blue collar jobs aren't there, so they are like commuters. There is some industry there, but predominantly agriculture. Then there's like processing with like food processing or like packaging, logistics and supply chain, right? So those are like some of the main things. But 20% poverty rate, 18% unemployment,
Wow.
and nobody seems to fix it. And people talk about what needs to happen, but they cannot, to save their life, tell you how they'll fix it.
So how would you approach it differently?
Ideas. So one of the things that would be in my control as a federal candidate, I only can do that, right? Anything to do with state is completely out of my control. There's federal land. And in 2017, President Trump, created this special economic zones. Any region that's struggling got those special economic zones, and any industry that actually invested in that special economic zone had their capital gains tax exemption for 10 years.
Okay, so there would be a huge advantage to moving to that area and creating something.
Yes.
Okay.
A huge advantage, right?
And
even though this talent, local talent available, our kids are moving out because there are no jobs. But if the industry moved there, there's talent available. So example, not just agriculture. Let's take northern part of the district, right? Where we have all of this commuter traffic that are going and working in the Bay. During COVID, it was fine, or the work from home situation changed for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So they have to actually go across the Altamont Pass and then actually go to the Bay. 2 hours each way, at least.
Mm-hmm. At least, with no problems.
Yeah, at least, right? And so imagine if we created incentives for the companies to move to the other side of the mountain. They pay 20% less, but they would have people captive and happy employees.
They'd already have trained employees. Some of them might even be working for their company. They'd be moving their company closer to their employees at a better wage.
Yeah. And that's what we need to lobby for, right? And I'm going to do all of that. Lobby for companies to go invest, lobby for companies to create jobs, investing in our special economic zones, expand the code of the current economic zones to make sure that the right companies come in and then create more jobs. We do not have a big ag R&D facility. The biggest in the nation is in the East Coast.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And we feed the nation. Right. Why not here? And those are some of the things that we can easily do, right? There's some in UC Merced, but that's tiny compared to what's out there in the East Coast. The Research Triangle.
Right.
Right.
Or Fresno State has a decent ag program that has quite a bit of research that comes out of it, and yet it's still tiny in comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if we had these billions of dollars of investments that go in this R&D locally, It would create local jobs and our kids wouldn't have to migrate. We are failing our kids in California, in Central Valley, by not paying attention to the things that matter most.
So aside from this idea of bringing new business in, and I get it, I appreciate that. What could you do to help agriculture from the federal perspective? Because our farmers are being squeezed. They're being squeezed both federally and by the state. Where are the fixes there? Where are the problems there?
Our problem is all of these enviro terrorists creating all of these regulations that send all of our water into the ocean for this bait fish smelt. And I don't know, God save these lunatics from actually doing what is right for the people. All of these liberals tend to think our farmers are like the bad thing, right?
Well, they're wasting resources. Those people should just go without food.
Yeah, but I mean, their logic ends outside their homes, and I mean, they should really prioritize people. Like two of the most noble jobs anybody can have: a farmer and a soldier. Mm-hmm. And if we can't take care of them, who will? Right? And my idea, we've got a lot of federal land, and we need three things to happen, right? Or we'll bring in funds, investments to do three things to help our farming community: surface water storage, more dams. Like the Sites Reservoir is on federal land, but then we had to fight 30 years to get any kind of funding. Mm-hmm. And then the construction started now. In a few years, it'll be ready, but that's in the northern part of the state.
Right.
There's nothing here, right? And Stanislaus and South, we don't have water. And so we need more storage for surface water. We need more recharge facilities for groundwater recharge, and then more on dredging projects, so that okay, we take care of these three things, and at least we begin to help our farmers. More things I would ideally like to see some of the refunds go to our farmers. Yeah. From the tariff refunds.
There's a dirty little secret that happens all around the Delta. There are multiple cities that are on the edge of the Delta that send out partially treated sewage water rather than fully treated. So that makes the Delta much more toxic for that little wasted fish.
Yeah.
And they're using that environmental regulation to say, no, we have to flush the Delta. I would encourage you to find ways to help fund those water treatment facilities so that the Delta could be cleaner. Yeah, even though I know that's only on the edge of your district. It's only part of your district. But
yeah.
Who would be your allies in Congress if you're elected?
I would work with anybody that's going to take care of my people in the Central Valley. We got to do what is right for the people. End of the day, I'm a conservative, but my philosophy is red or blue, I work for you. A farmer is a farmer. I don't look at a farmer as a liberal farmer or a conservative farmer. When we take care of our people, when we elevate their economic situation, we elevate the entire city. The crime reduces because there's more jobs. And people are generally happy. So when you look at all of the people, right, what do they want? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Mm-hmm. You want to have food, water, shelter. We want to have good education for our kids. We want safer neighborhoods, and we want our neighbors to be happy and safe.
But
that's all we want.
Those just sound like traditional common sense values.
Yeah.
And never once did you mention transgender or all of these other distractions from that basic mission of government.
That's where, people get divided because the focus shifted. Can we focus on, fixing the basic things that you morons couldn't fix for decades, right? The government should be working for the people, but not creating more problems for the people. And when you create more problems, like in ancient Greece, you got to create all these Olympics and games to get people distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So the flavor changes, right? The flavor of the year changes. First, it might be LGBTQism. Then it might be transgenderism. Why waste your time on cultural and race issues? Let's help people. I'm I want to create jobs, and this is a fact of matter. This is truth, and this is what President Trump also believes. If you run a business, you get in people who are qualified to do the job, not because they look a certain way or they act a certain way or they believe a certain way. Right? And that's what we need to do to make sure, okay, create jobs, everything will take care of themselves. Idle minds, are devil's workshops. Mm-hmm. So, let's elevate people. So we could get into all of these cultural wars, race wars, gender wars, but nobody's fixing the common sense issues.
Well, and by going on with all these distractions, we lose the mission of what about we take care of America first?
Yeah. And our veterans are on streets. Our kids do not have jobs. Whereas we are sending money or spending money on illegals.
Mm-hmm.
So cost of living went up because you're prioritizing illegals.
So how would you deal with illegals then?
Deport them all.
So you think they got to come the right way?
They have to come the right way. They have to stand in the line, do the right thing, and do the things I did, do the things like everyone else, legally did.
So you have no problem with immigration as long as they come the right way?
At some point, we need to look at, do we have enough for our people? Do we have enough resources? And it's not a free-for-all. And then immigration reform needs to happen too. Now we have all of these chain migration only in America. A lot of first world countries do not allow that. They are there's a point system. Is there a need for this skill set in our country? And then bring in those people that actually fill the need.
In other
words, not chain migration.
So you're looking at it from the lens of, if you're allowing somebody to come in, they need to benefit the country.
They need to benefit the country. They need to integrate. They need to integrate the right way, right? And they have to give back to the society, not take. So I have a big issue with people coming in and being on welfare.
Mm-hmm. Whether that's, let's face it, if they're on Medi-Cal, that's a form of welfare.
Yep, it is.
Because that's designed for California's poor. Or Medicaid, if we're talking nationwide, that's again largely for the U.S. citizens poor. We are actually taking money away from our citizens to give it to illegals.
Yeah. So example, if government taxed us $100 and spends like 50 or 60 on illegals, that's $60 that you got robbed without your consent. They spend it on programs, their pet projects, without benefiting you in a way that benefited them. Democrats like opened the border, let all of these people come in. They said it was okay, right? Like just come on in. And so people came in. So our congressional districts are based on population, not based on number of citizens
Right.
living there.
Which I think is wrong.
Yeah, which is totally wrong, right? So if you create a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state and then import more illegals, that means you're artificially creating more districts for yourself to enrich yourself and be in power forever. And that's a way like of big cheating.
Yes. So
So
even without a single illegal vote, states,
even without,
without even a single illegal vote, they are weighing the deck towards them by counting illegals in the census, and they only do that in very liberal states, in very liberal areas.
yeah,
So it gets weighed towards liberals without even talking about the need for the SAVE Act or anything else.
yeah. And first of all, like, with all of the gerrymandering, they've created like more favorable seats for themselves, right?
Well,
And
if you
look
don't
at
have to
like,
fight for
what
it,
Kevin Kiley's seat happened. Like, the seat, the district looks like an elephant trunk.
literally does. We're not
Yeah.
even making this up. It's
And we don't have a say. It's all like, backroom politics, like, unelected bureaucrats, and then these corrupt political operatives that are scheming day in and day out to make lives miserable for people.
so aside from your economic message, and clearly you want to get rid of illegals, what would be the other priorities of your campaign?
So if you look at different parts of the district, I mean, I've knocked on thousands of doors, and the themes are the same. They overlap, but there's a bigger theme. But then, like, 2, 3, 4 points are the same, right? Somehow, the inflation or the ease of inflation has not reached the Central Valley. People are still hurting. Homelessness is a big issue, like up and down the district.
You can go to a tiny town that has 1,000 people, and they'll have some homeless.
No, and it's so bad in certain areas that the parks, the bathrooms of the parks are locked. Right? So there's no bathrooms. So kids are not able to play there because there's like homeless people sleeping there, doing drugs. Right? So our communities are not safe. In the name of compassion, we're like, even still encouraging this problem. And one of the things I want to do is to tie infrastructure dollars to easing this problem. If you're a sanctuary city, you will not get infrastructure dollars. Also tie developmental funds to water delivery minimums.
That's the first time I've heard that idea. So how would you do that?
So right now, it's daylight robbery, right? Like, our farmers pay in advance
If
for
they're
certain units of water.
right, if they're in a water district and they pay in advance
Yeah. And
before
then
they even know if the water's there.
yep. And sometimes, like, they get allocated 10%, sometimes 20, maybe 40, maybe. But then what happened to the rest? They robbed you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if that city or district robs the farmers, they wouldn't get any developmental funds. You have to like actually hold these people accountable to say, did you deliver the minimums?
But that's not the California way. Look at
We got to
Gavin.
change it.
No, we do need to change it.
Yeah.
I say that jokingly, but Gavin Newsom is the leader of our state and runs from accountability. It's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
And
Nothing else is his fault.
yeah. I don't know how you get through life never taking responsibility.
The liberal way.
Sadly, I agree with you, my friend. So why are you the right candidate? What makes you unique and special over, for instance, what is the name? Kevin Lincoln? Because you're going to be competing with votes with him. He's the other Republican in the race. There's technically one more who's really not campaigning. So I'm not going to talk about the Mara series much here. Largely, if you're going for conservative votes, you're going to have to take them from Kevin Lincoln. So why are you the better candidate?
I believe Mero series dropped out.
Did he finally? Okay.
Officially.
He did
Yeah.
officially. I did not know that.
Yeah. And look, I'm a businessman. I'm not a career politician. I'm not in this to go look for the next job or like climb up the ladder. And I've always like balanced budgets. I've created jobs in my life, and I believe in hard work and personal responsibility. Kevin Lincoln is a failed mayor.
Well, Stockton, was he in charge when Stockton had to declare bankruptcy, or was that after?
Like he presided over the bankruptcy, but when he was the mayor, the homelessness doubled. The murder rate increased by 20%.
Yikes.
And they use all these fancy terms. Unhoused tripled, or unhoused. That's the term they used, right? And his office was investigated for forgery. He was the biggest champion for DEI on record.
A Republican for DEI.
A Republican for DEI. You can just look up his videos. I'm not even making this up. He said we should lead the nation in matters of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And he was the only mayor who signed or who was the supporter for a $533 billion housing voucher program, which was nothing but reparations, right? This bill was by Alex Padilla.
Okay.
And this guy is not even a RINO. He's like a complete leftist. But then we've seen some of the conservatives putting themselves as NPPs and then running for local offices, right? Mm-hmm. So my guess is he couldn't get elected as a Democrat in these cities. So he put himself as a Republican just to get at least that vote. And he did not win the election. the first time. Like, he touts like, he won the election and by his merit. The vote was against Michael Tubbs. The vote was not in favor of Kevin Lincoln. And that place was a chaos when he was the mayor. And at the door, people don't care. When I say, like, this guy is a DEI guy, they'll be like, okay, where's your yard sign? So,
Okay. So people don't want any part of that.
none of that.
Good. Why?
So it's the establishment, right? It's the establishment. It's the uniparty that wants candidates like this so that they could control. If they get somebody like me, I cannot be bought or sold. I took responsibility. I've never been on welfare, never declared bankruptcy. Somebody like, Kevin Lincoln, he declared bankruptcy too. Everybody can, like, have personal situations.
Right.
But somebody who cannot take care of his city or himself wants to, like, take care of our district, I wouldn't trust my money with somebody like that.
Okay. Well, those are some things that people in your district absolutely need to look into. We're down to about a minute and a half. Why are you hopeful, and how do we find out more about you?
I'm going door to door. I've been campaigning actively for 9 months, and then I've met a lot of people up and down the valley. And the message is clear. There have never been a Republican that actually came to their door. And there are some communities that they've never seen even a local representative go there. And they're like, okay, you're here. We're excited that there's somebody who cared to show up. And that makes us, like, really excited for the campaign. And anybody can, like, go look us up, like, on our website, Vin, VIN, number 4, Congress.com. Those are our handles for Facebook, X, and Instagram as well. And just Google my name, Vin Kruttiventi, and then you could find a lot of resources to get in touch.
Well, Vin, I absolutely wish you the best. We've met a few times. I would say that you gave one of the best speeches I've heard in this whole season up there at the Matt Gaetz event. I also appreciated there were some protesters at that event, and your people at the end went outside with great passion and energy and engaged those protesters. That was one of it just brings a smile to my face every time I think of that.
Yeah, like, I put on the MAGA hat on and went there,
Well, best of luck, my friend. Stay in touch. This is Eric Rollins, the Constitutionalist. Folks, have a great day. There is hope in California.
Thank you.
Vin for Congress.
Win for Congress. Win for the win.